real ones. There's even more of my conversation with astronaut Christina. I never keep that from you because I love you guys to the moon and back. Get it? You get it. You guys are smart. More Monday is brought to you by Pull-Ups. Hit it. So to orient yourselves, do you guys make sure that you keep a strict schedule of like, this is the morning time. We are following the clock of home. We are going to sleep during our normal circadian rhythm, waking up, that sort of thing. Like, do you do that very strictly?
Very strictly, like down to 5-minute increments. Our day is planned, and the day is defined off of what like dynamic event we have to be awake for, kind of usually in the beginning, because we had a couple burns. We were doing these really wild, super high elliptical orbits around, one super high elliptical orbit around Earth before we went to the moon. And we had to be awake for doing those burns to like raise apogee or perigee. And so it was like, they're like, all right, let's make a day where they're awake for these things. And then everything else they'll sleep for. And that was kind of how the whole mission was designed. So it kind of aligned with our day on Earth, but it was a little bit offset. So it was afternoon by the time we were waking up. It was afternoon on like in Houston time.
That is so impressive.
Super strict. So strict.
Oh gosh, these are the things you don't think about. It's so special to hear this. And it's amazing to hear how team oriented it is in something that is not necessarily athletic. Whenever I talk about teams and the importance of being a team member, I always equate it to athletics because that was my experience. Sometimes I'll reference like the band and how you wouldn't sound the same if it weren't for everyone who's playing along to the same sheet of music. But this is sort of another example that I have now of like that you wouldn't be able to do these incredible missions and to complete them successfully without the entire team.
Absolutely. And it is so analogous. I would say the one of the coolest parts of the mission was actually the 6 months prior to the mission that we flew, when we were working with the teams every single day, thinking about what could go wrong, how will we solve it, how will we work together. There was no answer key. We were just people legitimately who cared about the exact same thing, which was making the risk the perfect amount for this mission so that we could be successful. And there's something so amazing, like when you get a call from mission control and you know exactly what they mean and you're ready to execute it perfectly. I mean, it's that same feeling on a sports team when you get that perfect pass or that assist. It's just like we are working together. We are a well-oiled machine. And how much more fulfilling is that than when you're on your own doing the same thing? I mean, absolutely, we all have to work on ourselves, but to just desire that teamwork is so important, and it just magnifies everything. And we just couldn't do it without that. Like we could not.
That's so cool. Did you learn any unsuspected skills during the Artemis II mission?
Oh gosh,
I know you said you're not talented. Shouldn't disagree with
yes,
that,
that's right. I accumulate skills through hardship, but I make sure they don't come easy. Well, I did learn to swim. That wasn't related to Artemis, but it was related to the idea of needing an individual and separate goal that made me feel like I still had a life outside of work. Because in this role, you can easily let it become your entire life and completely lose your sense of individuality. And that's something that's very important to me. So I did come up with this goal to swim a triathlon, even though I didn't know how to swim. And I actually made sure that I wouldn't say as much emphasis on that, but significant emphasis on it to remind myself that I was still a person in this role and not just this role.
That's so cool. Now, have any young women asked you for advice on how to be like you? And if they have, what do you tell them?
I have had that question, and I have a couple things that I like to say. You might have heard me say, do what scares you. And that doesn't mean to take unnecessary risks or anything like that. But what it means is that you shouldn't necessarily take something scary and run in the other direction. In fact, I actually usually sit with something and think, oh, I really don't want to do that thing that scares me, but that's probably what I need to do. So doing what scares you, it's just out of your reach. It's intriguing to you, and you'll probably get the most fulfillment and meaning out of it and do the most good for the world. I also say support the people around you. Sometimes you just need to get out of your own head, focusing so much on your own goals, your own maybe failures and successes, whether you're on the right path or not. And if you think about how you can support the people around you, I guarantee you all will end up in a better place and you will have some insights about your own journey that you can't have otherwise. So those are a couple things I say. Find something that fulfills you. I feel like that should be obvious, but it's not always. When you feel right doing something, you can listen to that. And that's an okay thing to guide what you do, something that fulfills you, that you can do slowly, that doesn't have to be exciting to other people. So there's a couple guiding lights there. There's so many. There's so much good advice out there.